All right, chat. One more then. Marvel Rivals has become a threat. So I'm assuming this is for Overwatch, a threat for Blizzard. But let's see what they have to say.
Marvel Rivals is a threat, and I don't think people really understand exactly what's going on here with this game. We are seeing player retention on a scale that we haven't seen.
I just want to note that there's a kitty on the video, like a lot of my videos. Just saying.
Since Helldivers 2, and even still then, it's beating out what was a worldwide phenomenon at the time. 4 new playable characters, 3 new maps, new match types, all kinds of new content that's coming into the game. This game is a major disruption for not only the AAA industry, but also just the live service industry across the board because, well, it's a game that's serving its fans. It's meeting the demands of its audience, and that kind of goes against the creed of many live service games that are out there. They don't really like to give us too much. They usually like to drip feed things a little bit, and it ends up, well, upsetting the fans, and that's one of the...
Dude, have you seen the new skin for Invisible Lady? Or Invisible Woman? It's meeting the fans' expectations, if you know what I mean.
Reasons why this game is getting so much support. Imagine listening to your audience. Such a foreign topic nowadays. We're now hearing rumblings, or rumors at the very least, that there's a PvE mode that's in development as well. So we're going to talk about that. But imagine Blizzard would be in shambles if they actually released one. That would be...
I actually hope the PvE is killer on Marvels, because we were so excited for that for Overwatch. If you were an Overwatch boy, for Overwatch 2, we're like, oh, sweet, they're going to have PvE. Didn't happen. Didn't happen, bro.
NetEase, you could do the funniest thing. So today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about all things Marvel Rivals, from the new content to its future to those that would stand in the way of its success, and why this game is going to be a problem many can't ignore. We are now 1 month out from the launch of Marvel Rivals, and the game hasn't showed any signs of slowing down or stopping. Historically, when we see a popular game release, live service or not, we tend to see the game surge in the week of its launch, and then players that aren't interested in the game start moving on, and the player count kind of falls to find...
Who was being killed by that Invisible Lady push? It's been really effing annoying, dog.
...find its dedicated audience. However, in the case of Marvel Rivals, we're seeing the opposite. We're just now a month past its launch, and we're consistently seeing the game hold over 400,000 concurrent players on Steam, less than 50,000 down from its peak. Just to put that into perspective, when Helldivers 2 lit the internet on fire earlier last year, its release surged up to 458,000 players and then dropped to 334,000 players after its first month, losing 30% of its players from its peak. Marvel Rivals has lost 9. That is absurd, because that means that this game is either replacing players that are leaving the game with new players that want to try it out at a near 1-to-1 ratio, or the players aren't leaving the game, which likely it's probably a blend of the two. Players are actually sticking around to keep playing the game, and the players that are leaving are getting replaced with new players. And there's a lot of reasons for this game's continued popularity. One of the reasons...
Also, one thing that hasn't been stated yet is that there's a lot of players out there who are just watching on Twitch because they are vicariously watching, because they don't have the rigs that can handle this game. I'm playing on a older model right now. We have our new computer. It's an i13 and i14. If you have an issue with those, you know what's going on. You want to pull your hair out. So we have a bunch of people who have the Intel 13 and 14 processors that are having issues with this game, and they're sitting out right now. Just think of everybody who has a new computer that has that problem. They're watching right now Twitch because they can't play. They're trying to figure out how to get into the game. You have people who have rigs that really can't handle this because they're like 8-year-old rigs that they're waiting to get a new one to play this game. So we have probably a large chunk. I don't have the numbers. Let's just say another 10 to 15% of the player base literally watching, eager to play. That's crazy. So we get crazy numbers, and we have people on the sidelines wanting to play. This game, I've heard people say it's going to be a month long. Well, it's been a month.
Reasons for this, I think, is that the game is being consumed so much
on
social
for a long
media.
Time, bro.
Well, I know that there's a lot of people that are out there that don't think social media presence of a game is indicative of its success or its player base. From my perspective, the more people that are consuming content around the game, the more people that are playing it. On Twitch, when the game released, it surged up to 227,000 viewers, many of the biggest channels receiving sponsorships, and some players were just interested in playing the game, and now it's sitting at an average of 100K viewers daily, making it one of the top categories on the platform. YouTube videos
Currently, right now, as we're watching this video, it has 210,000 people watching.
covering the best plays, the best players, tier lists, and gameplay are totaling millions of views, and Twitter and Reddit are overflowing with fan art and cosplays of the game's heroes. Both the ranked and casual modes in Rivals are thriving, which honestly is pretty rare to see. The casual mode is drawing in all types of players, whether they're just here for fun or just don't want the pressure of ranked matches. At the exact same time, the ranked mode is keeping the competitive crowd engaged, with plenty of players that are grinding to climb the ladder, participating in tournaments, and all kinds of different things. The game is offering something for everyone, and that's why it's working so well. Now the game is getting its first major update with Season 1, featuring 4 new characters in the Fantastic Four. Susan Storm and Mr. Fantastic are up first, and then in the second half of the season, we're going to see the other 2 characters. We're also getting new maps with the Sanctum Sanctorum and Midtown that are going to drop in the first half, and Central Park in the second half. Plus, there's going to be new game modes and objectives, keeping things fresh for the players. And the whole time that they've been developing all of this new content for the game, the developers have been, well, genuinely listening to player feedback, engaging with their community directly, tackling issues in the game, balancing performance issues with characters like Hawkeye and Hela, and bringing...
Thank God Hawkeye got a nerf, bro. Thank God. So tired of Hawkeye one-shotting me.
up lesser characters like Cloak and Dagger. They've been cooking. Now we have a prominent leaker for Rivals at Rivals Info on Twitter who's been digging around the game files and has shown off a lot of skins that hadn't made their way into the game and then later did, and more skins that we're likely going to see in the future. Recently, they shared that they discovered project files for PvE content that's either in development or was cut from the game. While we have no word on what the status of this potential PvE mode is, if Blizzard saw
this PvE mode, dude, if it has like skins you can unlock, it's gonna be just a whole nother level, dude.
Potential in it, then likely NetEase has as well. And honestly, it would be the funniest thing ever if they actually implemented meaningful PvE into the game where Overwatch failed to do so. This is something that genuinely could attract a completely different audience into the game and also give more players a reason to stick around. Now, what's truly fascinating about all of this is that most modern live service games would never and could never deliver on this sort of content or be this ambitious, especially for free. Most live service games, especially shooters, ignore any issues that are in their games. Maybe they will, throw in a single-player map or minor changes to existing ones. They'll occasionally drop a new character or weapon. Apex Legends, as an example, just revealed their update at the exact same time as Rivals announced their first season, and all they're offering is cosmetics. Overwatch 2 did the exact same thing. Well, watching a mass exodus from their game, they chose to release recolors of existing skins to try to entice players back to their game. Reading through some of the comments on these announcement videos, you can see an outcry from fans begging them to fix issues within their games, livid that the games that they've invested so much in won't invest in them or even try to fight back against new competition that has stepped into the market. This kind of goes back to a broader topic that I've discussed in the past many times on this channel by
like a developer that loves you, a developer who just loves your money, dog.
Now, but many of these modern live service games just don't have the respect for their audience that's necessary to keep players happy or to keep them around. Each update only serves to increase their bottom line by introducing more microtransactions and cosmetics rather than meaningful content or addressing player concerns or just general issues within their games. I mean, look at the state of Call of Duty right now. While Black Ops 6 was received pretty well at launch, it has reportedly lost over half of its players, and it's getting worse by the day. All of this is driven by the fact that players aren't satisfied. They watch as these studios...
I love Black Ops 6, dude. I was having a lot of fun with it, but I haven't played it in like probably a month.
Continue to deliver the exact same thing. Nothing changes. There's no advancement. They won't fix issues within their games. They let cheaters run rampant, yet they have no problem releasing cosmetics and new battle passes. This sends the signal to the players that your experience or your enjoyment don't matter. Only your money does. The biggest threat to the video game industry is the fact that players have learned how to vote with their wallets, and I just love to see it. I love to watch them struggle, and the struggle is going to get real pretty soon here. You have to respect where the...
I'm thinking about buying a skin, dog. I'm thinking about buying a skin in Marvels, and I don't like to buy skins. That's saying something. I see we have high def in chat here. This guy buys a lot of skins in Dota. Maybe he's gonna play some Marvels and buy skins too. This is a free game, you gotta remember. It's a free game, guys. And it's this hot. It's crazy.
Money comes from, and many of these studios have lost sight of that. And I think it's just because they've got so comfortable sitting in their sweet offices, sitting back, drinking their, bottle of water with waifu stickers all over it and saying, These idiots, they'll buy anything. They'll still play it. And they're right, because we're impulsive creatures. It's what we do. But what ends up happening when the game across the street treats us better? You didn't think about that, did you? Anecdotal, I know, but I loved Warzone when it first released. I had so much fun playing it. A lot of people get pretty nostalgic about Verdansk, but I also clearly remember how many issues that game had, how often they would go unalleviated, and how easily they would introduce microtransactions and skins and battle passes. How many times the stim glitch.
And how many people said that, hey, I'm not going to keep buying stuff until they fix the game, and they never did. I know a lot of people who stopped playing Warzone just because they want to fix the cheating problem. Like, how could you allow cheaters in your game and, like, literally push away your fans? It's kind of crazy.
Came back into the game. Skins that would release that would make players invisible. There was, like, the one time that they had, like, the helicopter glitch, and then they fixed it, and then it made another glitch happen.
I remember that one.
Another one, and then another one. It went on for, like, 3 months. Meanwhile, they never did anything about any of the cheaters in the game. Warzone today still suffers from those same issues. It's the same story because none of those things ever get fixed because they're never a priority, because the players are not a priority. We are the afterthought. It is our money that is the first thing that they want. The only way they can get that is through microtransactions. But what they don't realize is that if these games are not in the state that they need to be, and you're not feeding the players with good enough content, they're not going to stick around, and you're not going to get the microtransactions if we're not playing the game. That's kind of how this works. When I look around the games industry right now, I see a lot of these live service studios that have gotten fat and comfortable and greedy. They don't want, it's like I said before, all they want to do is take. And the only time that they ever want to give back is when their backs are up against the wall. And Marvel Rivals is about to line them all up.
It's not just Marvel Rivals, too. It's PoE. We have both Marvel and PoE that dropped on the same day. They've both been going for a month strong. And if you go look at the Steam database right now, they both are having serious numbers. Those two games are really turning the whole thing around. The developers, like definitely Blizzard, they're screwed. That's two of their main. They have Diablo and Overwatch. That's two games that literally they just got stolen from to two different developers. And I don't think they're coming back, dude.
Up. Too many live service games are doing the absolute bare minimum while squeezing their players dry with microtransactions and cosmetics, while ignoring real issues within their games. That is the reason why Marvel Rivals is seeing such an outpour of support, is because the players feel like they're heard, they're getting content that's worthwhile to them, and the game has a bright future.
And it's free. Like I just said, these two games, PoE, you have to pay $30 for the early access. Yes, PoE, though, is free. Marvel Rivals is free. And nobody's complaining about the cost of their microtransactions, the cost of their skins, because they're excited to invest in something that they have a passion for and they feel like it's giving back to them. Diablo, you have to pay to play. And then they push all these skins on you. Like he said, Black Ops, you have to pay to buy that game. And then on top of it, there's all these microtransactions. Warzone, same thing. So these games are not only being greedy by taking your money to play the game, then they're not doing anything to fix the game, and then they just throw more microtransactions at you. So that's why, in my opinion, that these other two games, like I said, PoE and Marvel, are killing it because they're great games, they're fun, they're addicting, the developers are like listening, and they're free, dude. They're free.
It's as simple as that. It's a company that respects where the money comes from and knows what the players want and are delivering on it. Sadly, there are those that would like to stand in the way of that. In an article written by Jade King titled, "Marvel Rivals Has Too Many Heroes for Its Own Good," they go on to detail a litany of issues that they have with the game and why they believe it should take notes from Overwatch. Jade writes, "Marvel Rivals arrived with one hell of an impact, but as the dust clears, some obvious flaws are now plain to see. The lack of role queue is one major omission, and is already making effective team play an impossibility when playing with strangers. Unless you want to switch to Vanguard or Strategist of your own accord to salvage an ailing match, you'll end up losing. This is a problem with Overwatch too, but role queue has made it much easier for you to form teams you know have a decent chance of winning if you work together. No Limits asks you to throw this aside for some chaotic fun where..."
Oh, that's bullshit, dude. Whoever wrote this article is a freaking hater, dude. This is not a problem. You get in there, It's only a problem for the new class. Between right now, I'm trying to get back to gold. Right, we did the reset. I went from gold 2 to back to bronze. When you get into like the high silver, gold, and the platinum, it's not a problem because you're playing with people who know what they're playing. But when you're in bronze and the shit tier, yeah, it's a problem because everybody just wants to play DPS. But realistically, when you get into the better rankings, people don't want to rank down. So, you know, let the players play, dude. You don't have to microtransaction everything. You don't have to micromanage everything, dude. This is just so stupid. This is a hater comment, and I disagree with the Marvel Rivals Too Many Heroes because they have so many heroes, but you already know these heroes. If I gave Marvel to any random person, my sister, if I gave Marvel Rivals to my sister, she's not a video game player. If I said, hey, play this game, she'll probably be like, oh, Spider-Man. I have an idea what he would be like. Oh, Captain America. Oh, I know he has a shield. He has to do something with a shield. She has an idea what these characters do. If I gave her Overwatch, she'd be like, what the hell do I do? Who do I pick? What do I do? Who's a tank? But she would know that these characters have specific roles that she has nostalgia from just cartoons, movies, the Marvel movies, everything. So this is like a paid article, dude. Blizzard paid them to write this. Calling it now.
Emerging victorious doesn't matter, but in Marvel Rivals, that is the only way to play. So it's impossible not to criticize. Right now, I spend games playing support out of obligation, preventing me from trying out other heroes.
Click faster, bro. Click faster. There's so many times I click, I'm like, damn it, I didn't click fast enough. I got a tank. Just the way it goes.
The lack of role queue isn't a flaw. It's the game's strength. Rivals gives players the freedom to play and adapt rather than forcing them into a pigeonhole because they were too late to join a match or they were too late to pick a hero. Meanwhile, Overwatch 2 has made people miserable with its role queue, and players have been complaining about it for years. This reeks of somebody that's trying to drag Marvel Rivals down to Overwatch's level of mediocrity. Bro. If they can't see that freedom is exactly what makes this game great, then they're complaining just for the sake of it.
I haven't played Overwatch in a while, but when they put that role queue in there, I was like, this sucks, dude. F this.
From my perspective, not every game has to be specifically tuned so that you can roleplay as an esports player in your 30s. I've seen many people posing the question as to why Marvel Rivals is succeeding right now, and Tim Sweeney put it perfectly, fun. That's the reason why people are playing this game, and trying to bog it down with competitive tools isn't going to make it any better. I don't know about everybody else, but I am sick and tired of every single third-person and first-person shooter becoming a toxic sweat fest. I'm average at these kind of games. I know I'm not that good at them, but I just like to have fun playing them. The vast majority of people are average or below, and catering to the competitive end of these games is exactly how you push out the average player. The writer then goes on to discuss how Marvel Rivals is a hero shooter built on one of the most iconic licenses in gaming, but argues that the game being free-to-play creates an unrealistic expectation for players to simply enjoy being the heroes without needing to learn complex mechanics and understand their roles. They complain that the game's focus on mechanical skills disrupts the power fantasy that would be enjoyed by single-player games like Spider-Man or Batman, where the challenge is just personal gratification. The conclusion that the writer comes to is that even during its beta period, the roster was stacked with a staggering number of playable heroes and villains to choose from. In the lead up to its launch, more...
Chat, this is what we call a fucking hater. That's what we call this. A shill hater.
Additions were confirmed for the roster, making it hard to determine who I would main and if I would even have enough time to learn the ins and outs before their release. Turns out that I didn't. And now the sheer act of playing Marvel Rivals is daunting. Once again, I find myself comparing it unfavorably to Overwatch. Overwatch launched with 21 heroes, while Rivals stepped out of the gate with 33, just 11 shy of how many Overwatch 2.
21 heroes you had jack shit knowledge of. 33 heroes you already knew.
Has now. And it isn't an original universe, as it has decades of media to draw from when it comes to its roster, but that also means that there is less potential for future additions, and some of its biggest names can't be capitalized on because they've been here the entire time. For the first few years of its existence, Overwatch turned each new hero into a legitimate event. You would follow each update and tease with fervent anticipation, waiting to find out exactly what role they might fill and what they would look like. This won't happen when Rivals add Sentry, every new hero was unexpected, but for Rivals, it feels like we're already having to temper our expectations after NetEase jumped the gun on its A-listers. I could be proven wrong, but right now, I'm not very excited about new heroes coming to Marvel Rivals because we're already dealing with an excessive roster. There's no moderation and a desire to give players a temporary power fantasy instead of easing them into things. This will only hurt the game in the long run, and feeling that way right now isn't a good sign. The roster is daunting is a bit of a reach. Having a large roster might seem overwhelming, but the game's mechanics at a character level really aren't all that complicated. The kits are designed to be easy to understand, so even if you're a new player, you can quickly grasp what each hero does. It's not about learning complex mechanics, it's about learning to get the feel for each character's abilities and how to figure out how to use those abilities strategically. This accessibility is what's allowing 20+ million players to play the game right now, jump in and enjoy it right off the bat, despite having a large roster. I'm sitting here wondering whether or not this writer lives under a rock. This game's accessibility isn't hindered by its vast roster, it's enhanced by it. Marvel has thousands of heroes spanning different universes, eras, and realities. Of course, this game is going to feature some of the most iconic heroes to draw players in right out of the gate. That's exactly what people want, but we all know these characters. Everyone recognizes Spider-Man's web-slinging, Storm's weather powers, Wolverine's claws, or Iron Man's lasers. The familiarity with these characters is what makes this game so approachable for both fans that are casual players or hardcore players. This isn't League of Legends where you have to sit back and figure out all these different intricate mechanics and how each one of these characters work from scratch. With Marvel Rivals, we already have a solid foundation as to what these heroes can do.
That's the one critique that I've heard, that like people have actually said that this might turn into like a League situation. But like I said, and like he's saying here, we already have a baseline knowledge of what these characters are about. So like with League, if I go play League right now, I have no idea what some of the heroes are, because I haven't been playing League religiously. I played League for like maybe like a few months when it released, and that's it, right? I'm trying to get into League actually, and I'm trying to play Dota as well. But even with like Dota, they have a lot of reskin people from, well, this is what I think, from Dota, from the World of Warcraft days. So I have an idea what some of these characters do, but I have no idea what these like brand new characters are. There's never gonna be a character in Marvel Rivals where I'm like, huh. Except for, actually, that's not true. That sticky glue guy we talked about in our last video. But, like, you're going to have the ability to Wikipedia these people if you don't know who they are. I'm going to say 90% of the characters, I'm going to know what they're about. So, like, I'm never going to be 100% lost like I would be with some of these League characters.
Thanks to decades of media exposure, the diversity and depth of the roster is actually a huge part of the reason why players are flocking to this game in the first place, and pushing back against that would make this game not what it is. People have their favorite heroes, and the promise of even more of them is what keeps them excited. The idea that Marvel Rivals is going to somehow run out of recognizable or meaningful characters is just
stupid.
I'm gonna say it's fucking stupid. As an X-Men fan, I am offended by this. I'm losing my mind thinking about the potential for more X-Men characters to hit the roster. I mean,
like we said, I think in our last video we just talked about X-Men alone, dude. X-Men alone has characters that you could just go crazy for. Like they could maybe make a whole year's worth of content just on X-Men characters, maybe more.
They could pump mutants into this game for years and still have more to come up with. Bishop, Deadpool, Rogue, Gambit, Cyclops, Nightcrawler, Jean Grey. Hell, we can finally have a character in a wheelchair that actually makes sense.
You brought me here, Magneto. The next move is yours.
I think that the one thing that many writers and critics are getting wrong about this game, or at least the thing that I think that they're losing sight of, is that the vast majority of players that are coming to play this game are either fans of Marvel or they're just here for the fun and spectacle. That's why this game is so successful, and that's exactly what kind of game these developers set out to make. That's why they're delivering on players' needs. That's why players love this game so much. It's been a long time since I've seen a studio so dialed into what players want, and especially what they want out of the Marvel IP. I think people need to keep in mind that the Marvel IP has been used and abused so many times, and the reason why people are so excited about this game is because we finally have something that's using the Marvel IP that's actually good for once. I mean, the first skins that they produced for the two newest characters is Susan Storm as Malice and Reed Richards as the Maker. While the Fantastic Four have always been known characters, their evil alter egos are some of the most dark and obscure depictions in Marvel. I mean, the Maker lobotomized Tony Stark for an Infinity Stone. These developers are so dialed into this game in a way that so very few studios are today, especially when it's not even their own IP. And it's only going to grow this game's audience from here. Rivals is giving players exactly what they want. Thick thighs, the freedom to enjoy the chaos, the power fantasy, and the excitement of Marvel's vast universe of characters. This isn't about appeasing competitive gatekeepers. It's about creating a game that everyone can feel like they can have a blast playing. So maybe instead of whining about too many heroes, the writer should realize that this is the kind of game that's keeping Overwatch awake at night. Because Marvel Rivals is everything that Overwatch isn't. The idea that Rivals is somehow going to run out of gas just blows my mind. How do you have such little brand awareness and you call yourself an industry expert? I could make an entire...
Well, this is the problem, that these are the experts and they don't know anything. Like, I think a lot of the fans are starting to sit here and think, like, who are these experts, dog? Like, who made these people the experts? They don't know anything about gaming. Like, they don't know anything about being a nerd. Like, there's a difference between being a nerd and, like, a loser. Like, these people are not nerds. They're, like, something else.
7-hour live stream discussing all the different heroes they could potentially have in Marvel Rivals in the future. I actually should probably do that sometime. You guys should follow me on Twitch if you guys haven't. Catch me live. Maybe we'll talk about that one day. That'd actually be a really fun stream. There are so many characters in alternate universes and all kinds of different things that are out there with different moves and skill sets that they could be able to use in Marvel Rivals. I mean, you have Earth 1602. You could bring in all the 1602 characters, like the characters that are like from the 1600s, really cool additions, and their powers work a little bit differently and things like that. You could do Marvel Zombies and bring in some of these zombified characters because they also act quite a bit different and would play entirely different. That would be really cool. Age of Apocalypse, because that brings back some like ancient mutants and stuff. It'd be
but we're not even like tipping, like we're not even like at the very, like we're just in the very beginning of this journey, dude. We have Thanos, Galactus. We have so many characters that are coming. So many iconic characters that we use. Like Gamora, like dude.
There's so many different ways that you could go around this and find so many different characters that are out there. I mean, if I was to show my power level, we could start talking about Omega level mutants. And in that case, they only have 2 out of the 16 known Omega level mutants in Marvel Rivals at this moment. If they add Legion, I might never play another video game. Incredible TV show, by the way. If you guys never watched Legion on FX, I would totally go watch it. It's such a joy to watch. They did such a good job with that TV show. But that's the thing.
Anybody ever watched that? I actually never watched that, the Legion, but I've actually heard a lot of people say it's good. So you have to go back and watch it. I actually heard a lot of people say that.
That's what makes this game so exciting and fun. It's because we don't know what characters are going to come, but we do know what those characters are likely going to play like because we have such a history with this brand, with this franchise, and especially the people that are, whether you're a huge fan of Marvel or whether you're somebody that has just, you know, passively taken it in, you watch a couple movies, maybe you just really like the MCU and stuff like that, you're still going to be able to recognize the vast majority of these characters and know exactly what they're going to do. It's not like you're going to be like Iceman, I wonder if he shoots fire. Quicksilver, I wonder what his power is. Most of the characters are self-explanatory, which makes the barrier to entry for this game damn near non-existent. It makes it so easy to get into, and everybody has their favorite.
That's what we were kind of saying earlier too. I totally agree. Like, I could give this game to my sister and say, hey, what do you think Spider-Man's abilities are going to be? I don't know. He shoots webs and he swings around. Pretty close.
Characters, so you get to sit back and wait and hope to see if your favorite one comes in, or maybe if your favorite character's already in the game, you're just waiting to see, maybe I'll start learning about some of these other ones, and then you start maybe reading some of the older comics and stuff like that. That's what makes this so cool. I mean, for me specifically, I am actually a legitimate hardcore Marvel fan, but I have not engaged with any of the media for years now because it sucked. I'm just going to be real. And there's going to be a ton of people that are going to agree with me.
I agree.
Because that's just the way it's been. Suck. But like old X-Men, like X-Men 97 and stuff like that, the old comics, even the original first.
Just to make his point right here, Moon Knight. Love Moon Knight in this game. So cool. Moon Knight in this game is so BA, dude. He's one badass mother effer. Moon Knight show, I don't think I finished it. I think I made it like halfway through and I said I'm done. The media sucks. This game is awesome.
Set of MCU movies up to Endgame. Kind of. I liked Endgame. I think it was still a really good movie. There's just certain things that I wish they would have done. It just sucks because the IPs were split, so you couldn't have the X-Men in with the Infinity War, which doesn't make a lot of sense because the X-Men played a huge role in the Infinity War in the comics, and you guys probably don't really care about any of that stuff. But there are people that do, and because of that, they haven't been engaging with the brand whatsoever in this game.
You guys remember people thought Endgame, that was going to be the first appearance of the Fantastic Four and X-Men? You guys remember that? People thought like maybe that would be like the first appearance of them. Man, that would have been cool.
Is one of the first first uses of the IP in a long time that effectively use it in a way that makes you want to engage with it and gets you excited about its future. And that's why people are loving this game. So trying to criticize the game for having too many characters, you're out of your mind. That's like saying that people wouldn't have liked Marvel versus Capcom.
I like that game.
Did that have too many characters for you? If there is one thing that I've learned, and this is probably the one thing that makes me really hopeful about this game's future, really optimistic about this game's future, is that a lot of these Eastern studios, the minute that they strike gold, they throw all of their weight behind it. They don't try to, scam the players and try to drag them along. They just throw everything they can at them the minute that they get their hands on it, and it's why players keep playing their games. Look at Black Myth Wukong. The game comes out, it gets incredibly successful. They start patching it, fixing some issues in the game, but then they start adding in a boss rush mode. Did you pay for that? No. They added another character for you to be able to play as in a certain area or something like that. I haven't gotten around to do that. I think it's like the Tiger Guy or something like that. But they didn't have to do that. They just do it because they appreciate the fans, and they want to show those fans that they appreciate them supporting them. And that's how these games continue to be successful. I think Stellar Blade's another really good example of that as well, right? They did a lot of collabs and skins and stuff like that they threw into the game, and I know that's something that those players definitely appreciate. And just like how I appreciate Sue Storm as Malice. Oh, Lord.
Man. I'm trying to keep a PG-13 here, but that skin, bro, it's sexy. I enjoyed it a little too much, if you know what I mean. Just kidding, guys. This is a joke.
I'm not really somebody that likes to buy microtransactions, but when it comes to this game, they are doing a damn...
Dude, I think, I don't know if you guys are new to the channel, hopefully you've already subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you're here in chat, if you guys, a lot of regulars here, if anybody's new in chat here, I don't buy skins. Our computer is having issues, so I'm on a backup computer right now. Once that computer comes back, I'm probably going to buy the skins, and we're going to be streaming Marvels probably like 10 hours a day. Right now, we're doing like 4 or 5 because this old janky computer can't really handle it as much. But when I get my new rig back, dude, we're going to be going for like 12-hour days because I love this game. I've been having a blast with PoE, been a blast with Marvel Rivals. I'm just excited, dude. I'm just excited for this year of gaming, to be honest.
Good job at putting me in harm's way, or at least my wallets for that course. Speaking of harm's way, a few of you guys know this, but I actually do live in the Los Angeles area, so I might end up being evacuated or on fire.
Oh,
let's hope neither. This might, depending on how things go, who knows? This is really one of the only ways for me to say anything to anybody. If something happens for whatever reason, I'll be uploading in a while. Let's just hope that it doesn't, because I really just don't want to have to deal with that. I'm late.
Take the comics, bro. You know he has comics. You know he might have some CGCs. Take the comics, bro.
Easy, man. I don't want to leave. Like, if it's a fire, maybe 2 houses down, I'll think about leaving. Anyway.
Oh, it says fire stream. I thought maybe he caught on fire, guys. I saw this as a fire stream. I thought maybe, oh no, he caught on fire. But alright, guys, that's the video.
Hope you guys
Make sure you guys come.
Stay cool, stay right.
Come like, subscribe. I agree with a lot of what he said, and I think Blizzard and a lot of these indie game, these AAA games are kind of cooked, dude. We have a lot of indie companies doing great things. We have a lot of developers starting to care about the player base, And I think Marvel Rivals and PoE are some great examples of that. And we have, what else is coming out this year? We have Monster Hunter coming out. I believe they really care about their fans. So we're gonna have a lot of good games this year coming out that are fan friendly and very responsive and respectful to the fans. So I'm excited, guys. All right, chat. So if you're watching right now, if you're on YouTube, hopefully you guys have already liked and subscribed. We're gonna be jumping into our live stream here for our Marvel grind. We're gonna be going back to gold. Hopefully go to platinum. That's the goal. And hopefully you guys like, subscribe on YouTube. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this video. And again, hopefully you liked and subscribed. Help your brother out, help your boy out, and check out the TikTok streams and the Twitch streams. So all right, that's all I got for you guys. Appreciate it.